Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice, medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock Doc New Year's Extravaganza. It's the last episode of 2021, so we're about to have some 2020 fun. Let's begin.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock Doc podcast, where we discuss fitness and health.
Welcome.
Okay, I told you. No, okay, it's the new year. It's New Year. Whatever.
Well, I just thought. I don't know. I just thought like having that energy just up top, where like I'm suddenly there, pouncing on the audience, exciting them, scaring them a little bit.
Well, yeah, it's a new. They can't. It's a brand new year. You think they can handle that?
Well, I mean, I think this would be the time of year to spring such a thing on them.
I guess, like, just to be ready.
This is the new format of the podcast. Dr. Lennon starts talking, and I go, "Huh? What? Hey!"
Well,
and then it's my.
So far,
show.
you hadn't. That's the first time you did it. Was just now. You just said welcome in response, which I thought was actually more normal than your usual.
Well, that's because instead of doing this rigid reading from a script up top thing, I am flexible, baby. I'm fluid, loosey-goosey, and so it'll change from week to week. Who knows what's going to come out of my mouth? Now, do your stupid intro.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we do discuss fitness and health.
Yes.
And you're welcome to join us for that. And we also discuss how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. And I'm your host, Dr. Lennon Smith.com. Okay. Well,
I don't know. You say without it being so boring, and yet I've fallen asleep.
Yeah.
This is actually me sleep talking. I'm dreaming right now.
Yeah, no, I know. You've sent me recordings of your sleep talking. I know. This is exactly.
I mean, do you see how my leg is kicking right now?
Yeah.
As it looks like I'm maybe running after a truck or a bunny or a squirrel I saw in the yard or something.
I was going to say, it usually is a bunny. Just of late. That's what it's been.
Yeah. Seasonal.
Yeah. So I hate to feel compelled to stick to the thing, but like we have to get through our apologies because we get so much hate mail, and this is just legally I have to go through these.
Okay.
So
we're going through
not all of the apologies. Just like I have a few that I have to get. The lawyer said, like the attorney, he was like, "Look, you just get through a couple of these an episode, and legally, you're better." You're not good, but you're better.
Gotcha. And am I a part of this? Because you haven't even, I don't think you've introduced me at this point.
No, and I don't want our listeners to know who you are yet. That's another legal thing. Like the attorney was so specific. It was like, don't bring him in at that point. Because if you include him in the apologies, that's not enough apologies. It's never going to be enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want me to just sit back?
Just for this, like, do you want me to, I'll signal for you, okay?
Okay.
It'll be a hand signal, so our listeners won't know. You and I will be the ones in on it.
This intro is so botched. No one knows what they're listening to. If this is someone's first ep, they don't even know the name of the show. They don't know who I am. They don't know who you are. All because I just said welcome. It was so surprising to you that I would welcome our audience and actually say, hi, how are you? The world's first actually polite podcast who says, hey, what's up? How you going?
Yeah, I will admit, I think you did throw me off. This is the Jock Doc podcast. The Jock Doc podcast is the name. I do think you caught me there. I forgot to say it. I was flustered. So we've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms I've been using, such as xanthrochromia and auld lang syne. So I'm going to try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that, and this is the signal. This is the signal for you to.
Oh, okay.
Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Biz.
Okay, so that was
is that maybe that could be a thing. Again, fluid. It changes from week to week. If our listeners say, Cameron, I loved how you said biz. It's sort of like a bee buzzing, but it's your own thing. Then guess what? I'm going to keep doing it. If our listeners come back and they say, when you said biz, I fell asleep. It was so boring. I couldn't handle you saying biz. Then I scrap it.
Just real quick, just for our listeners who do, and we appreciate that the listeners let us know, but the mailing system is already backed up. We can't handle the weight of the hate mail that Cameron gets. So if you could just, use thinner paper. I guess that's like, obviously we'd like your feedback, but like just maybe try to save yourself and us the postage issue.
Well, I've been suggesting just use a roll of toilet paper as sort of a scroll. Because some of this hate mail is as long as an entire roll of toilet paper.
That's true, yeah.
So let's just do that. Then you can just send just a little box with that toilet paper in it. Much easier.
Okay, yeah.
Much cleaner.
Yeah. Okay, and so this is sort of the, trial and error. We try to improve on technology. That's a lot of what this podcast is about. And so whenever you write your hate mail, do try to innovate. As you said, use your toilet paper. I would say, sometimes in this day and age, there is a shortage of that. So, I guess wipe with regular paper and then send.
Write your hate mail on normal paper. Wipe with that. That is now your toilet paper. Then also write a copy of it on the toilet paper. That is now your hate mail.
And send that, yes.
And send that. I feel like that's a pretty simple system.
The simplest.
Our haters you guys are a very creative group. And you're very good at these kind of projects. I know, and I believe in you, and I know you're going to do a good job.
Oh, yeah.
I love my haters.
He loves his haters so
truly.
much, like to an uncomfortable degree. Also with us,
I'm actually doing Christmas with a lot of my haters this year.
Yeah, well, I got the anti-invitation. I know. All of you sent me.
I meant to say I did do Christmas.
That's right.
With my haters.
Yeah.
Last week.
Back when two days ago. Anyway, so that's our producer Cameron. Also with us is Digital the host.
I'm just glad to be alive. 365. What's it gonna take to thrive? 365. Recreate myself a couple hundred times. 365. 365. Will she walk away? Do you think she'll fly? Let's take a dive. 365. 365. 365.
Digital the host.
Is she gonna walk away or is she gonna fly? I can't decide. I've been looking up and I can see the signs up in the sky. 365.
And later, Cameron tells us that we can expect a special guest. No. Not today.
What?
Because today is the New Year's episode, which means we focus on going through all of our old, I'm already framing it poorly, all of our best stuff. And it's sort of like one of those episodes of a show where you hate it because it's just clips, but it's not a clip show.
It's not a clip show. It's revisiting past favorites to see where we are with them now. It's updates.
It's updates.
Life updates. Everyone hates clip shows, but everyone loves
updates.
End of season reality shows where they bring everyone back and then they yell at each other on the couch. And that's sort of what this is.
Yeah. This is an attempt at a reality show situation.
Reunion episode at the very end of the season.
Yeah. So, or a decade after the season. Yeah.
Oh, no. Like the end of the season.
Okay.
Like on Survivor when they bring everyone back, or on Teen Mom.
Okay, sorry.
When they have all the
shows
moms,
we all
they got
watch.
Dr. Drew there.
Sorry.
That's the episode that this is like. See, we're already fighting.
This is great.
This is perfect.
Wonderful content. Okay.
Let's just jump right into it. 9 minutes in. Let's just go.
Okay. So I'm sorry to like cut it off here. I know you're trying to start us, but I want to say before we move on, before we move on, I want to address some listener feedback.
I guess.
Well, this note comes from, and this is kind of close to me. This note comes from New Year Tom. So this is Tom from MySpace has rebranded. He is New Year Tom now. And he's asked us to kind of pioneer this. We're sort of the top of the line in our field of niche, just extremely niche medical podcasts. So Tom said, well, like, you guys are the biggest thing since MySpace. So can you publicize my stuff? So yes. So this is a letter that he wrote to us, and hopefully we can sort of unpack it.
To us or to you?
Well, I get it didn't say, and I kind of found the note. I assume it's from Tom.
I just would be shocked if he like actually wrote to me. We haven't spoken.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's probably 7 years.
Yeah. Well, because
ever since I ran over his pinky toe with a jet ski.
Yeah, it didn't help that you unfriended him on MySpace the day after. Like, it was like you did it on purpose.
I did. I was afraid of him.
Oh. Okay, well.
I was afraid that once he got that toe reattached, he was going to use it to kick my butt.
Yeah. But okay, those fears are well founded. I'm still friends with him on MySpace, and it's okay.
All right, but this letter's addressed to you. Go ahead.
Okay. The note reads, quote, "If bread was a vegetable, it would be a potato." End quote. So, thank you, Tom. Thank you, New Year Tom. A good point, I guess. If bread was a vegetable, okay, yeah, they're both, I guess, carbs. Sure.
Yeah.
And
there's potato bread. That's like extremely popular.
I do like potato bread. But of course, it's not the same. It's like sort of apples and oranges, or vegetables and bread. So
potato bread is like apples and oranges to regular bread?
Potato to bread, and potato bread is to vegetables.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Potato bread.
Okay, good. Let's get into it further.
Potato bread is a potato.
Okay. Wait. No, it's not.
It is also bread.
No, I think it formerly was
two things.
It formerly was potato, and now it is a type of bread.
It's been a potato that's been shaved into the shape of a bread. Oh, interesting. It's like potato slices in the shape of a bread.
It does.
Very interesting.
It does depend on how you make it, I guess. If you prepare it by doing what you described, then I would argue that it's actually, it's still a veggie at that point. But, this is why we were asked this question by New Year Tom. And New Year Tom, I'm actually, I feel like there's not really much to answer in that, I guess, question. But what I can say is that I'm glad to have some representation, a mascot for the new year. Because everyone knows Tom. There's Santa from a few days ago.
Yeah.
There's Jabez from a few days ago. But nobody knows about, like, there's no New Year thing, right? Tom from MySpace.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the concept of the New Year baby, but that's just like that's more like a GIF. You know what I mean? Like, that's not even like an actual established thing.
Yeah, it's
more just like a vague mascot.
Yeah, that the baby that you carry. Yeah, it's just a mascot. Like, it's not. It's a vague. Yeah, you're right. You haven't named it yet. So Anyway, so to New Year Tom, thank you.
Well, I mean, it's Chester, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, the fact that it is Chester is still, I don't think it helps. Anyway,
well, it's also okay. My baby New Year is also shaved out of a potato. Is that what you're trying to get at here?
Yeah, I guess I didn't see it as.
And its name is Chester.
Needing a name.
And it is the current mascot of New Year's and is being replaced by Tom, and I'm fine with it.
Okay. Well, you don't sound fine, so we'll just move on from that. if that's okay.
You can do whatever you want. I don't care. I just don't care. You can do whatever you want.
Good. No, good. So
Couldn't care less.
Yeah, no, you've really made that okay. Now for today's medical topic, gastronoma or Zollinger-Ellison Syndrome. Gastronoma or Zollinger-Ellison Syndrome is a clinical syndrome caused by a gastrin-secreting tumor. Patients with a gastronoma often present with diarrhea because the gastrin stimulates acid secretion in the stomach, and this stomach acid inactivates lipase. Lipase normally breaks down lipids, fats. So if a patient has a gastrin-secreting tumor, they don't properly absorb fats. So those fats end up passing through and being excreted as diarrhea. So it
sounds like even if their body, it sounds like their body can just handle it anyway, and we don't need you in the process, right?
Well, their body's handling it by just diarrhea a lot.
Wow.
And ulcers. So
the miracle of the human body. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I don't know that it's like that. Like it's not that good. So less than 1% of patients with ulcer disease will have a gastronoma. But for this diagnosis of gastronoma, you will look for patients with ulcers that are large, meaning over 1 to 2 centimeters, recurrent ones after H. pylori eradication, ulcers that are distal to the duodenum, and multiple ulcers as well, something you look for gastronoma. Once endoscopy confirms the presence of an ulcer, the most accurate diagnostic tests include lab testing. So that'll be like a high gastrin level while the patient is off of anti-secretory therapy. That's PPIs or H2 blockers. The lab values, lab tests could also be high gastrin levels despite a high gastric acid output, or persistent high gastrin level despite injecting secretin. So any one of those lab tests would confirm the diagnosis. Once the diagnosis is confirmed, imaging can be done to exclude metastatic disease, and that, it's metastasis. That's, moving from the original source. So abdominal CT or MRI is done first, but this has poor sensitivity, so it doesn't necessarily exclude metastasis. So if that CT or MRI is normal, then you'll use somatostatin receptor scintigraphy, that's nuclear octreotide scan, and that's combined with endoscopic ultrasound to exclude metastatic disease. Are you getting all this? Is this registering for you?
No, I mean, am I supposed to be writing down every word? Because I am doing that.
Yeah.
But I am submitting this as my own homework.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You
That's
said,
fine. It's not plagiarism, though, right? Because I'm hearing it. I'm not seeing it, so it's not really plagiarism.
Yeah, you're not copying from my notes, right? You're writing it down?
No, I'm copying what you're saying via what is heard through my ears.
For your
Once
sake?
a sound leaves your mouth and enters my ears, that's
your property.
product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to read off any of it, or do you want me to just go on? Do you want to check your notes?
Do you want me to read the endoscopic part?
Yeah.
Or the MRI part?
I get there. I go for the MRI part. That's the poor sensitivity kind of. Yeah. It's really quick.
Poor sensitivity.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you got it.
Like when you go, an MRI machine.
Okay.
Is actually quite affordable.
Well,
within the metaverse.
Oh,
and this is sort of a new venture that I'm working on, which is sort of CT scans in the digital aspect. That's what you said, right? That's what I have written down.
Okay, so I can see how so you didn't mention your homework is metaverse related. That's
yes.
Okay. That's
I'm in metaverse school right now.
Okay. Well,
I jack into the metaverse when I get up in the morning.
Right.
It sucks. The hours are terrible.
Yeah.
I've got to get up at like 7:30, or I've got to be there at 7:30.
And then jack.
And I've got to be fully dressed up. They get mad if I'm not wearing a suit and tie in real life.
Yeah, well, that's because once you get in there, you're it's the metaverse, as we all know, as I think we were all living in it to some extent now. It is sort of like the Mii's on the Nintendo Wii. You hang out there.
It's like Ready Player One, except for it's like school and work with Mii's.
And like barely
with Nintendo Mii's.
And so we have sort of just these little barely shaped pixelated creature. So I've had to try to detox, honestly. I'm sorry. I am getting distracted here, and it always happens when we get into this talk with your homework.
Yeah, no, it's just, I mean, it's like you said, you're trying to detox from it because you've been confusing. Am I in real life?
Yeah.
Am I in the metaverse? This stuff is so real.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. It has the way to trick your mind. And that is the entire reason that I'm introducing MRI machines into the metaverse, because people like you who don't know the difference, you can't tell if you're in the metaverse or out of it. You're going to be willing to spend real money on this like fake thing that I just sort of generate with code.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's sort of like a scam, and I think it's going to do really, really well in that arena.
I guess. Okay. Yeah. At least you recognize it as a scam. So for Gastronoma, the most accurate test is always going to be a functional test, such as looking at the response to secretin. Local disease is removed surgically. Metastatic disease is unresectable and is usually treated with lifelong PPIs to block acid production. And as to how that applies to the metaverse, I just don't know. Like that's.
You don't think that PPIs won't exist in the metaverse?
I don't know that they'll be very useful.
You don't think that proton pumps will need inhibiting, Dr. London?
Yeah, just for the stomach acid. I feel like it'll be more useful in the real... I guess... No, once you're in it, you're right.
Wouldn't it break immersion? Like, Dr. London, once you're in it, if you're not having a tummy ache as consistent as you are in the real world, that would break the level of immersion.
That's right.
And so, yeah, of course you're going to have like acid reflux in the metaverse. Of course you're going to have back pain and joint pain.
Yeah. And you'll have to go see a physical therapist.
And this is what I love about the metaverse and NFTs and all of it is just we're given just infinite amount of space to do whatever we want. And we've created just sort of like, sort of shops in the stock market.
Oh, it's amazing.
That's sort of what we did it. Yeah.
Because I didn't know what I was looking at first, but like when you get into it, oh boy, I walk around and I see that you can like sit in a shop kind of.
Oh
and
yeah.
Look at item options. Oh, it's so crazy. And I know I'm
well, and I love like with the NFTs, for example, I've got one of my batch monkey ape NFTs. That you see on my t-shirt. I have it all the time. It's everything.
Yeah.
And because of forced scarcity, Dr. London, only I can have this.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you could have it. You can take this image and then just make your own shirt with it too.
Yeah. But
that's cheating.
That is cheating.
And you don't want to be caught as a cheater in the metaverse.
Oh no, and that's a whole gray area. We haven't even gotten into the law enforcement with cheating.
Yeah.
So and I don't want to touch that politically. So let's move on because we've got some clips, and it's not a clip show. It's not a clip show.
Nope.
Not a clip show.
But we do need to.
We have
hear
past moments we need to update.
Yes.
And we've got to hear those moments now.
And it's not a clip show, though. I just want to emphasize that.
Not a clip show.
And you might listen to it and you think, wow, this feels a lot like, but it's not that.
No, it's not a clip show. It's a moment. So DJ Dylan, can you just go ahead and play our first moment in history? Write a children's book.
Yep. Specifically to teach a valuable lesson.
Yes. And so we got to figure this out. We're going to just knock this out really quickly because otherwise the mayor is going to be super pissed. And so we need to, all right. I mean, how do we even start this? I have zero idea. I've never read a book or written a book, or I don't know.
I thought you were the big idea guy.
Well, yeah, but my ideas they're so large that they couldn't fit in like a book.
Let's stick with what you know, though, Cameron, because what you know is that your ideas happen while you're asleep. So maybe it could be a going to sleep type book.
Okay. So
yeah.
It's a book about going to sleep, or like a book about what happens when you go to sleep, or what's the valuable lesson being taught?
I mean, sleep is super healthy for you.
Okay.
In the right doses. So maybe it could be, this could be one of those things, and I know this is kind of weird for children's books, but it could be one of those books that's kind of oriented towards children that are going to sleep. Like you read them a book before they go to sleep. Just kind of like
a bedtime story. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the term, but
oh, okay, yeah.
So this is
so I guess
you lost me there.
What you're wanting is a book that's so boring that's going to cause even a fussy little bratty child to pass out as if he took a pill.
Yeah, or I mean, maybe not boring, just something that will knock them out. You know how, like I said, a pill that you take before you go to bed. Anyway, something like that.
Oh, okay. So then maybe the book should just be about the different kind of like maybe about like a little kid who every time he takes a fun sleepy time pill, he goes on a fun adventure, right?
Okay.
And that teaches kids to take, a Benadryl every single night before they go to bed.
Right. Okay. Dr. Byrne, are you feeling this? Is this?
Look at what's happening. You're working together.
Wow.
Okay.
Chores are helping you to work together. Haven't seen you two get along that well in this whole 40-some minutes we've been together.
Okay. Yeah, maybe this is the way.
What brought us together is child Ambien.
That's right.
Okay. So, I guess these books don't have to be so long because they are for children who.
Yeah. Well, let's title it first.
Yeah. So title.
How about like I take the same pills as mommy and daddy?
Okay. Yeah, and once again, I don't see or interact with children that often anymore. So it's, I'm going to go a little bit on your expertise. So medically I can't speak to this so much, but
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So from my experience, kids and Ambien are a great combination and it helps them sleep, and they sleep for like 36 hours every time.
Okay.
You do know that I am sworn to turn, if anyone confesses a crime to me, I'm sworn to turn them in.
Yeah.
Sleepy children is not a crime. I know for a fact that children being sleepy is not a crime.
All right.
You should not throw these kids in jail just because they're so sleepy.
You think that children would be imprisoned?
Yeah, there's no reason to arrest these kids just because they're sleeping for like 36 hours at a time.
I mean, Dr. Byrne, I just want to make sure on that. Like, are you agreeing with him on that point, or
absolutely not? No.
Okay.
I'm saying that Cameron insinuated he was going to give pills to children, and I'm saying that because of my Hippocratic oath that I believe you, Dr. Smith, must also have taken.
Yes.
That if I find out someone's to be harmed, I've got to turn them in.
That's right. And thank you for holding me to it, Dr. Byrne.
We're not passing out Ambien to these kids. We're just, in the book, the character is taking one of his mommy's Ambiens.
I think this is a bad lesson to teach children.
Okay, and it doesn't help that this podcast is heavily marketed towards 6-year-old children.
I just wanted to say I spent some time in Liverpool too. That's why my accent is flying between Ireland and a beetle.
Now that you mention it specifically, I am hearing it. But yes, that all tracks. Okay. So so the book starts out, Tommy Boy is wondering what to do for the night. Tommy Boy is thinking, and this is a reference to the movie. This is the younger version of Tommy Boy. The Chris Farley type. So Tommy Boy is looking around. What should I do for bed? And he sees...
Now, do you think it's appropriate to have a Chris Farley type who is also maybe taking pills?
That's good. I'm glad we have so much accountability on this podcast. That's something that we've been missing.
I don't mind it. I'm just asking if that was a good idea.
I'm going to have to go with Cameron on this one. I think both of your guys' ideas for the book are very dangerously close to causing children to hurt themselves.
That's definitely not true. I'm just more I don't want to upset the Farley estate.
Okay, yeah, that's and I guess for whatever reason, Tommy Boy's the first boy name that popped into my head. But maybe let's go for something more
Tommy Cruise.
What?
Tommy Cruise, maybe.
Okay, Tommy Cruise.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say let's just go gender neutral, considering the age we're in, with a less
a Gene or a Pat.
Yes. Let's say Gene. So Gene is there, and Gene wants to go to bed, and that's because that's what every kid wants.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, kids typically don't want to go to bed.
Oh.
Right?
No, I didn't realize. I just remembered, like, I know how much I want to go to sleep sometimes, so I assume. Okay, so they don't want to. Okay.
I thought that was the point of this book, was to encourage kids who don't want to go to bed.
No, okay. So
maybe it's like a fuzzy kid who doesn't want to go to bed, but then maybe like some sort of a creature or like a demon or something speaks to him.
A demon? What are you talking about? You're going to scare the hell out of these kids.
I'm just trying to imagine, like, when I was a kid, what would I want to appear before me to convince me to take a pill to enter some sort of a magical land? And the first thing that popped, like a demon-y sort of creature, maybe like a hooved guy.
You're describing the devil, Cameron.
No, I don't think the big guy himself is gonna, like, be that invested in just a random kid.
You refer to the devil as the big guy?
Won't he? Yeah, sometimes.
You sound like you're personal friends with him.
No,
again, I feel like too important, too busy. There's no way.
So Gene is being told by his parents, who we're going to put, maybe we'll go in a different direction. His parents have Gene, the human child. Their parents have halos around them.
Okay.
And they are saying, maybe it's time for bed. And then Gene says, okay. Does this sound good?
That's it?
I mean, now that I'm realizing we have to walk this kind of tightrope, we can't encourage them to take pills because that might be morally bad. Or ethically, at least.
Well, then how about the book just spends a lot of time on like different locations where pills might be found and then just leaves it at that?
Okay.
Then they can choose to do it or not to do it. That's up to them.
Okay. So Gene looks up at the cabinet, where the medicine cabinet.
And then it says it's usually in one of the side ones. And then maybe like there's sort of instructions on like how you're supposed to press down on the lid and turn. Like you can't just turn it because that's the childproof lock.
I'm going to have to jump in again. You're more or less still encouraging children to take pills.
I think we're just teaching life lessons.
Well, no, this is one of those things where like I'm really appreciating having another physician in the talks here, because normally it's just my guy, and maybe I've kind of dropped a little bit of my professionalism over time because these suggestions do come often. So, Dr. Byrne, thank you. We'll incorporate this idea of maybe not telling them how to open the pill bottles. Okay. So, Gene, let's the leaving it blank might be okay. So Gene looks up at the medicine cabinet, considers, and we can write considers ... and then looks at bed. And maybe next to bed is glass of milk. Okay.
Ooh, I mean, do you want to be on that side of history? You don't think things are sort of like gearing more towards veganism as time goes on?
Okay. So my attempt was to find something that wasn't so controversial as a method to help a child sleep.
Yeah, but you're talking about the dairy industry.
Yeah. Okay. So for you don't draw the line at Ambien for a child. For you, it's the
cheese, milk. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
the kid just goes to bed. So it's a 2-page book.
Yeah.
The first page is the kid doesn't want to go to bed. On the second page, he's looking at a cabinet, and then he looks at the bed. So I guess 3 pages, and the third page is he goes to bed.
Great.
Done.
That was easy.
I think this is going to transform our community.
This is a great book.
Wow. And that, I mean, honestly, good memories. It's weird to hear how that project started.
Yeah. Because it's nowhere near the same at this point.
Well, I mean, so this project, this children's book we set out to write also got turned into a 6-episode, as you say, series, I say experience. But this time, this was with Netflix, so completely different than the DreamWorks.
It was certainly marketed differently, and so this one, there was a big turnaround with that, and with our own, podcast, we had to change the marketing a lot. So instead of going to children, it did go to geriatric age people, to elderly.
Yes. This became a sleepy time book and then mini-series experience geared towards helping the elderly go to bed when they're fussy and don't want to go to bed.
Yeah, which, I mean, all of your suggestions were pretty decent for the right age group.
Oh, it fit perfectly.
It was like almost suspicious. It was, anyway, so now, of course, we have this fantastic series. Like, if you go, I don't know, it's what everyone's watching on Netflix, but especially sort of the older age group. Everyone, when I want to go to sleep, that's what I'd turn on, you know? And you just leave it playing.
We've got Glenn Close as the elderly patient, and we have Jeremy Irons as the devil. He comes in and tells her to take her pills.
And the devil thing, it did test a little. I want to say wonky. Wonky was the term that they used whenever they described it. But I think, once we played it for audiences in the big theater, it went so well.
They were so scared. Yeah.
Everyone cosplayed as the devil, and that scared them further. It was really.
Oh yeah, they were, because you're scared at the screen and you seek comfort in a companion, and yet you look over and your best friend is dressed up like the devil himself, Dr. London.
Yeah, no, it was
I'm scared myself thinking about it.
And you want to go to sleep, and watch how.
Yes, just to get away from the fear.
And that's a good tip for anyone who's looking to escape the sort of the fears of being awake. Is hold those in your mind, and then go into sleep. That's how to overcome your, that's how to, because dreams are always going to be good. I
feel like people aren't going to watch the show or buy our book if you're just giving away all this.
I'm sorry. This is, if
you're old and you are fussy about going to sleep, invest in a Netflix account, invest in our book.
Yes.
Let's keep it at that.
Yeah. And,
we gonna move on to the next clip?
Yeah. Let's hit it.
So we have to come up with movies based on their title. So let me explain this. I can't believe we have to do this, Dr. London. So basically...
our studio, I should clarify, one of the reasons why we have to do this is, like, our permit is very, like, it's a tenuous permit. Like, he won't let us keep it if we fail to follow any of his commands. Like, we have to obey him in order to keep doing this podcast. So
that sounds very draconian. That he
please don't say it too loudly, because he could hear.
And so the mayor is starting the movie studio, and he came up with, in his spare time, a bunch of movie titles. Like, that's kind of his contribution. He's like, I'm going to put all this money towards this movie studio, but the only thing, he's like, I'm more of an ideas guy. But an idea to him is just a title that he comes up with. And so he's sort of given the task to us to figure out actually what the movie is going to be. So this is what we got to do. So, I mean, Dr. Lund, do you want to read one of the movie titles that he's written down?
Yeah. So this first one here is, it's just called Porcelain Fog.
Ooh.
So what is
Porcelain Fog?
So, like, what I think of off the bat is, I think of a toilet.
I think of toilet too. I think of toilet too. Yes, we. And
then the fog, I guess, only because the porcelain part, I wouldn't have gone this way. But then I think fog, I think of passing some gas, like it smells bad afterwards. So I guess this would have to be like a comedy stinky.
The subgenre of comedy, stinky movies.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Perhaps a rom-com with someone who will not pass gas in front of their significant other.
Yes.
Well,
right?
It's only in the bathroom.
Yes. See?
I have maybe a play on words here a little bit with, fog. Something that's really in right now is movies about Alzheimer's. So maybe if in this rom-com, one of the persons was getting dementia over time while also, dealing with the
So
the
literally
farting passing gas aspect.
Doesn't know he who smelt it dealt it unless they didn't remember stealing it.
That is the tagline. That is the tagline. It's on the poster.
Word for word.
I mean, I think we have that solved. Do we want to cast it real quick?
Dame Judi Dench.
Okay. We got Judi Dench in the main role, and let's just get Timothée Chalamet in there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
He's hot right now, you know?
I like that
Yeah, and
team
I think
up.
they'd work well together.
It's a good team up.
Yeah. Okay. Jeannie Swa, would you want to read the next one?
Yes, absolutely. It is, interesting. A turtle named Frank.
Okay. So, I mean, I can tell you. You go ahead.
The first question I have is just, are we talking about a literal turtle? Or are we talking about someone who maybe needs to come out of his shell?
Or both.
Or, a turtle who is stuck inside of his shell.
See, so the first thing I thought of, just so that this is also on our minds, is the Dr. Seuss book where you're the turtle, but all the turtles are stacked, and I think it was a metaphor for for Hitler in Germany, or maybe, or yeah,
you are correct.
So
this is a reboot.
Okay,
a reboot of Yertle the Turtle called A Turtle Named Frank.
Wow. And it sort of has, it has almost like more of a serious title to it. Like, Yertle the Turtle is a kind of funny, but this is A Turtle Named Frank. So maybe it's more of, a dramedy, maybe Adam McKay sort of approach to...
we're gonna keep the heavy, like, World War II metaphors in there then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or do we make it more about the Middle East, Afghanistan?
Oh, yeah, we can sort of modernize it. Yeah,
modernize it. Yeah, and that should be easy to make a very clear message, too. So, because everyone's in agreement on what's going on and how to solve it.
Very clear cut.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll just have, maybe we'll have Frank join the military, like maybe shortly after 9/11 or something like that, and then maybe that can be the starting point of this story. Okay, great.
And let's not say any more on it, only because our podcast doesn't really get political, but this is, of course, a movie that will comment a lot on it. But that part will be done in the screenwriting and in the release whenever we, hopefully, we haven't been able to do it so far. But
if you even mention the U.S. military and don't mention the atrocities they cause, you get like $2 million in funding, like that.
I don't want to jump the gun, but I think I see Owen Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah, that is perfect casting. Who should be his shell?
Well, I don't think he'd want Luke.
Zach Galifianakis.
Ooh, yeah, I think that is a good pairing.
Have they worked together? This could be nice. Yeah, and so whenever we made, I didn't mean for this, this episode to be so heavy on sort of the screenplays, all the movies that but it's been a busy year.
Honestly, this episode is starting to feel real advertising, but it's sort of like when you have this many projects going on at once, how everything you do is going to be sort of self-advertising, right? I mean,
yeah, I can't help it. I mean, so the Yertle the Turtle thing, what was it? I honestly, I forgot what name we even had in there. I know it was about a turtle. That's where we started.
Yeah.
But once the the
studio
producers,
notes and
they all mess with it. They you have your creative vision, but then they're like, oh no, this that.
I think we called it The Eternals. I think that was sort of the name that the studio ended up settling on. I don't remember which studio it ended up Here's the thing for people who are not in the industry. You pitch this thing to a number of different studios and it'll get picked up and it'll get tweaked here and there and the name change and this person's attached. Oh, they're not attached. This person's attached. Oh, that person got accused of rape. And it's sort of like all of these different things going on at once. And you're like, blah, blah, blah. And so you don't even know. Half the time I will be watching something. I'll be watching an episode of Girls, and I'll see my name at the end, inspired by Cameron Clark's life. I was like, oh, okay, that does make sense. A lot of the stuff Hannah's going through is very similar to my life.
Yeah. And a lot of things end up being, biographical for you. You sign a lot of your life permissions away as well. Like, that's a hobby for you.
Yes.
So,
well, I mean, yeah, I definitely, there was a time period where I wanted to be the first just sort of, what do you call it when there's like no copyright on something anymore?
Public domain?
Yes, I want to be the first person in the public domain where you could use my personhood entirely with my permission.
Yeah, and what an honor. I will say I know what other people refer to you as is the everyman. They say he is,
yes,
because his I guess his legal self is given away so much. Everyone sees you whenever they go to the movies because you are,
and I'm essentially a part of every person.
Mm-hmm.
Siri's voices me when your microwave says like 30 seconds. That's me.
Yeah, and so it's I'm sorry we're getting so bogged down in that.
Too inside baseball, yeah.
But yeah, all that to say, we have all these movie pitches and they're exhausting, especially, and I don't know if anyone listening picked up which episode that was, but that was our garbage chef that was on, and
yes,
he's surprisingly well connected in Hollywood. That's one thing I learned from. I guess enough Hollywood elites go to his garbage restaurant, which I think was in a van or something. They go to. I think
it was outside of a van.
Yeah, not quite in a van. That's right. And so, anyway, enough people go to that, and enough bigwigs. Kevin Feige hangs out over there apparently.
Yeah.
Which I think that's how it got to be the Eternals. That's how that turtle thing got there.
Oh, that. Yeah. That tracks.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, so I haven't seen that movie. I'm probably not going to see that movie. But it sounds like people enjoyed it or hated it or something. Doesn't really matter. Again, once the script is out of my hands, I've forgotten about it. I've already moved on to the next script.
Once the check is in my hands, that's
yeah.
Do you want to do one more clip?
Do you want to do one more clip? And it's not a clip because it's not a clip episode. Let's go to one more memory, one more moment in history.
Take me back.
The mayor wants us to create a YouTube channel to finally reach all the teens. He says to be able to send them his special messages that from the voices he gets at night.
Yeah.
And that I don't want to have to do this. The problem he has, though, he does have a YouTube channel, and it's mostly just him talking for 30, 45 minutes straight, just looking down the barrel straight at the webcam. But he says that he's only getting 2-3 hits per video. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't know how to reach the youth. You guys are experts about this. Yeah. Let's figure this out. So we got to figure out how to spice up the mayor's YouTube channel.
Okay.
And I have a suggestion right off of the bat. You know what's just unbelievably popular right now?
Brand new?
Have you heard about brand new? Have you heard about this thing called ASMR?
Asthma?
Asthma, I think it may be under that umbrella term.
Oh, because asthma is not as
like
new.
Asthma is the larger.
It's like heavy breathing, right? Like heavy breathing directly into your ears.
It's making funny little noises, tiny, tiny little whisper noises or crumpling noises or scratchy noises that give your body a goosebump sensation.
Ooh,
and teens are loving this. They're getting together at each other's houses and they're giving each other goosebumps left and right. And I think we need to tap into this market, Dr.
Okay.
Mark.
Yeah, and I guess just to advertise the podcast, do you want to do that?
I mean, we got to advertise the mayor's ideas.
Sure.
I would say yes. Let's also advertise the podcast and also advertise whatever else we want to advertise. Whatever else we got going on that we want the teens to know. This is actually perfect, given that our guest had a message that he was trying to reach.
Oh, I would love to take a stab at this. I think ASMR
this is perfect.
messaging is... Cameron, were you a high school cheerleader?
I was a high school pescatarian.
Oh.
No. Okay.
I mean, that's good thinking.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's dive into this. I guess I'll warm it up a little. Well, we have the mayor's notes, so
I'm going to take the windsock off my microphone so I can really get in there.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, Dr. Lenny, we all have to get
to the mic.
Let's get
here.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit closer
into the microphone.
Okay.
So, Dr. London, do you want to go ahead and do the...
Yeah, wetting your lips. Yeah, you got to get a good...
That's what that's for. Okay. So,
good bass.
The mayor wanted us to emphasize that the local pond has been stocked with fish. Lots of fish. Trout, maybe? He didn't give specifics.
Trout.
I don't think salmon. I think salmon was expensive. All right.
September is National Recovery Month. If you have a loved one who's addicted to opioids, mind your own business and do not celebrate September's National Recovery Month.
If anyone knows where my parents are, I think I might have left them at a mall like a week or two ago, but I don't want to admit that because I feel like I would get in trouble. And so I'm just gonna go like this a bit.
Oh, right. And also, let's
I also just sort of wanted to say I agree with our guest in that, stop being such a nosy Nancy. Just let people live their lives, and if they want to take hydrocodone and watch Martin every night, then that should be choice.
What I was gonna say is that actually listen to the Jock podcast. Listen to Jock podcast. Because
take hydrocodone and listen to the Jock podcast while you're taking.
Or maybe just not do that. And I think we got it. Okay.
Oh.
Wow.
I had more.
Okay.
There are 1.6 million opioid addicts in the United States, and every year 1.6 Americans try opioids for the first time. You want to be cool, don't you? Join the 1.6 million. Opioid addicts have a long future.
Or, maybe hesitate on that and just ask your doctor about it.
But only if your doctor's cool.
Go into your aunt's medicine cabinet.
No, let's not.
So your aunt...
Okay.
If you go into your aunt's bathroom, she has a different bathroom than we normally use. It's in her bedroom.
Not that one.
And then right above the sink, there's going to be a mirror that you can open up.
Let's not do that.
I just want to go in there.
Only choose doctors that drive nice cars.
No, I mean, that's...
Like 2022 Honda Civics.
So you don't want to go for the pills that have Walmart or Target logos. There's some that are clearly a prescription. They'll have a doctor's name on it. Those are the gold ones. You want to go for those.
We're talking. What if they do metformin or something? They'll just get diarrhea and it'll help them control their blood pressure. So or their diabetes, rather.
Not that far off from taking a bunch of drugs.
I mean, it is taking a bunch of drugs, technically. It's just not the hard drug. And it might, if it causes their blood sugar level to drop or whatever, then it could be dangerous for that. But so could the opioids, so I guess there's no real winning here. Okay, I think we got it. I think we're really coming out on top here.
My credentials with this is I am the person that successfully marketed vape flavors geared towards kids, like bubblegum.
Oh, nice.
That was me. That was me. Cotton candy. That was me.
Wow. I forget how often I really push. Let's call me an advocate for kids knowing where their parents or aunts or whoever keep their pills.
Yeah. And it's, once again, whoever chose these clips, I don't know if they picked the same, sort of avenue of joke intentionally, or if it was just trying to get a general idea that they liked. But by golly, yeah, you do. I mean, you have had the habit since the beginning.
Yeah.
The difference being now,
I like the freedom of information, Dr. London. I don't like secrets. If I know where your parents keep their pills, I think you should know too.
Yeah. I will say that, to producer Cameron's credit, he usually tries to supply his own, and this is more for the people who don't have access to Cameron's whatever he makes.
Yes. If you can't get any of my specialty stuff, which speaking of this month, for the month of January, or this upcoming month, I have a special on some of the green ones. I just found them under a bridge. So if you're looking for some green pills, they're different sizes, but they are all green.
Okay.
And you can get those half off if you just head over to my store.
And half off meaning you cut them in half, or?
Yeah, so they're full price, but you get half the pill.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, this is one of those things where it's a fine print kind of thing, and I know you're a stickler for that. So
yeah. All this to say, this ASMR thing, it did get turned into a 6-episode, like you said earlier, series. Yeah. I call it an experience.
But
this time over at HBO.
Yeah.
Well, okay, not HBO Max. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, and also
it was an HBO Max original, not an HBO original. I'm sorry.
For me, what made me mad about it is that the prequel, which was made by a separate company, an offshoot, that one became far more popular, and it kind of left us in the like. I felt like I signed my creative, my whole idea away whenever they switched, they pivoted that hard with a prequel. And I'm sorry, this is all once again inside baseball. It's too much.
Oh yeah.
There's a whole thing there.
You're talking about when they, we had already written this script, and they're like, oh, but what about what happened before with these ASMR guys?
Yeah. And
then that, of course, was Mayor of Easttown.
Yes.
On HBO. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it turned into this sort of murder mystery type show, which I thought was really good, but I think moved away from a lot of the lip smacking and spit noises that really established the original script. Yeah.
And once again, I guess that's sort of good note to kind of leave on here, is that we want more, and we're going to try to do, it's a new year coming up. We want to try to have more lip smacking, more just improvised ASMR in our given videos. We want that to actually be a part of what we do from now on. And so with that in mind, that's what we'll be pushing for, that, and they'll be happening without the guest's knowledge a lot of times. That's how our approach will be.
We're going to be smacking a lot more. We're going to be audibly breathing into the mic a lot more. Mm-hmm. We are going to say and more.
Yes. Oh, please.
And have long pauses as we are clearly just trying to think of something to say. We're going to do that quite a bit more.
Yes.
I think we're going to deliver a pretty good product this year, Dr. London.
And I'm excited for it.
Ooh, lots of, on my end, misusing words that I've clearly confused for another word.
Yeah. And for me, gonna keep bringing up drugs that, and then say that they're for something besides what they are intended for. And so we're gonna work forward in this, and I'm really excited kind of for where it's gonna take us. So I get new year, new me.
New year, even longer episodes, more rambling, more just like endless one person going on and on and on, and no one interrupts them or tries to stop the conversation anyway. A lot more of that.
All right. And I think on that note, Thank you. This is my name is drlondonsmith.com.
Actually, we should end on this note. And DJ Dylan, this is where you could play a piano note. Maybe like a C.
So,
do you have a specific note you want to hear, Dr. London?
Ooh, C sharp minor. Is that a note?
Probably. I think maybe a chord.
Okay.
Right. To be. But I don't know. I don't read music.
Yeah.
So.
No, you cancel your subscription. Okay. So, thank you to our producer Karen. Thank you to Digital the host. Tom from MySpace has rebranded. He is New Year Tom now. Tom from MySpace. He's surprisingly well connected in Hollywood. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, New Year Tom. What other people refer to you as is the Everyman. Tom from MySpace. Tom from MySpace. He's surprisingly well connected in
the metaverse.
Tom from MySpace. Tom from MySpace. He's surprisingly well connected in
the metaverse.
Tom from MySpace has rebranded. He is New Year Tom now.